Welcome to Bible Roots, where we study the Word of Adonai Yahweh in depth to understand well the scriptures basing on Hebraic roots. So this is the only way how we can understand and how this exactly how we can understand the secrets in the word of Adonai Yahweh. Now, today, I'm here to discuss because we are ending Genesis 6. Now, I want to discuss something very little from these verses. I want to start with Genesis 6:14, and we see what it means. Today, we are going to see a very tremendous lesson, and this tremendous lesson is all about how the concept of saved by grace. What does it mean? We were going to get to be introduced to a very awesome, amazing lesson. Now today, I want to read in Genesis 6, verse 14, and we see what it means. What it means. It's very amazing. So Genesis 6, verse 14, it says, make it a vow. Make it a vow. So from my Bible, which I'm reading from, is a complete Jewish Bible. So it has Hebraic names, so Hebrew names. So in your modern Bible, where there is ark, that ark, the Hebrew name for the ark, it's the Teva. So it says Genesis 6:14. It says, make a Teva of gopher wood. You shall make rooms in the teva, and shall seal it inside and outside with copper. Now, this word teva is a word used to mean wooden craft, something of the kind. The boat, it's not a boat, but something like a wooden craft, a box. But in it, this box, wooden craft, it's on water, and it's not operated by a crew. It's the Lord God himself who operates it, who drives it. And this word kofar was used to a basket where Moses was put on, and actually where Moses was put and was dropped on water. We will get introduced to that when we reach there in the coming chapters. So now, this word teva means actually a craft, a wooden craft, something of the kind, the box, the ark, and in it, it's not driven by crew or by people, but it's driven by God himself, as we are going to see this ark as it is. And I've told you that it's the same word which was used to the basket where Moshe, or where Moses was put. And now we are saying that Adonai Yahweh, God of Israel, is commanding Noah to make a tava of gopher wood. You shall make rooms in the teva, and shall seal it inside and outside with gopher. So now, what is happening in this verse? God is giving description to Noah. God is giving description for salvation to Noah. Salvation is a joint, actually, it's a joint mean. It's a joint mean between Yahweh himself and man. It's not a one-sided, actually, it's not a one-side thing, whereby Yahweh only is the one to get engaged in it. No, it's a two, actually. Salvation is a joint mean, whereby for it to get completed, actually, for it to be completed, there should be two comparatives. two there should be two people agreeing to make it complete. So now what God is doing here is giving description for the salvation. It's giving description for the salvation. So this thing of saying that salvation, we were saved by grace, or salvation is by grace. So this is its origin, in the way that we are seeing God giving description to save human being, to save humankind, to save people who were wicked in that era. So God is not letting the people to go or to die because of being wicked. No. God did not let these people in Noah's era to die like that, with to die without any escape road. But because he is full of grace, he had to put away an escape road. This is the origin of this concept, which is announced by many Christians, by many believers, that we were saved by grace. So in every era, we are going to see that God Adonai of Israel puts an escape road for his people to get saved. In this era, God had to command Noah to actually to construct a teva, or to construct the ark for his people to be saved. So we are having four things happening here. The first thing is that we are having four things which had to happen here. The first thing is Noah had to accept everything which Adonai had told him. One, Noah had to accept that people were wicked. If Noah did not accept that people were wicked in that era, there is no any way how Noah would start to construct the teva, or the ark. But Noah had first of all to accept that what Adonai Yahweh, God of Israel, said that people were wicked was true. That was the first step for Noah to construct the teva, or the ark. So, number two, Noah had to accept that there was an escape road which was provided by Yahweh for the destruction which was to come. Noah had to accept that God, the escape route which God had told him was true, and was the only way, was the only mean how people had actually had to survive. So had to accept that, because if Noah did not accept the escape route, he wouldn't have started to contract the teva, or the ark. He would have constructed, because he would have actually started doubting that, no, how can people be saved in this thing? But he accepted it, that really people were wicked. The second thing is that the escape route which Adonai Yahweh told him of constructing the ark to save people was true. So the third thing is that actually the third thing which Noah had to accept is that this escape route which was there was given by Yahweh himself. He was the author. He was the commander. He was actually the origin of that escape route. It was provided by him. He has to trust that the escape route was provided by Yahweh himself. The fourth thing which Noah had to do is to act. He had to believe. He had to start acting as Yahweh had commanded him, and to believe that his deliverance will come from acting what God or what Adonai Yahweh had commanded him. Those are the four things which Noah had to do. So, I've told you that don't get confused when I use the Hebrew word teva to mean the ark, because I've told you that this word the teva means the ark. It means the ark, and it is the same word which was used according to the Hebrew Bible. It's the same word which was used to the basket where Moshe or Moses was put and actually dropped on the water. I've told you that in the sense of when you use this Hebrew word teva, as in the ark, as in the basket, it means that God Himself is the one who is driving, who is sailing this basket or this teva or this ark, as we are seeing. As we are seeing how he did on the ark and how he did on the basket where Noah was put, where Moshe or Moses was put in that sense. So, and it's not operated by human being, it's operated by Yahweh Himself. So I want you to go to verse 18. I want you to go to verse 18. So I'm just I'm just picking out the crucial verses which I want to teach about, which are very difficult for someone to understand. So I want to teach about them so that you understand them well. So now today, let us go further in Genesis in verse 18, Genesis 6. Here what it says, "But I will establish my covenant with you. You shall come into the tava, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you." So, what does this verse mean? This verse shows us that 4 men were picked to restart the earth. 4 men were picked actually to build up again the earth. 4 men. Who are they? Noah's 3 sons and Noah himself, or Noah himself. Noah this time had 3 sons. One was called Shem, another one was called Yefet, and the third one was called Ham. Those are the 3 sons of Noah by that time. So we are saying that 4 men are picked to start up the world, and their wives. That makes up a total of 8 people who were picked to start up the world. That makes up a total of 8 people. So 8 people were picked to start up the world again, to restart the world. So 4 were women and the 4 were men. On these men were 3 sons of Noah and himself. These 4 women were having the 3 women of Noah's sons and 1 woman who was a wife to Noah. So those makes up 8 people. So we are now this introduces us to a very tremendous concept that eight figure or number 8 is one of the major significant numbers we are having in the Bible. Number 8 is one of the significant figures we are having in the Bible, and it means, wherever you see number 8, it means redemption. It means redemption, because we are saying that God, Adonai of Israel, is redempting, actually is rebuilding, is restarting the earth with 8 people. So wherever you see number 8 in the Bible, is the number of redemption. Where does it come from? It comes from here. So when we go to verse 19, verse 19, 20, hear what it says. Verse 19, 20, actually, it will show us that every living creature which entered, they entered two. One was a female, and another was a male. What does this show to us? It shows us the unity of the family. It shows us that from the start, God ordained a family to be started with one man and one female. Any family which was started or which comprises of two men and two wives, or one man and two wives, or two wives and one man, that is a pervertive family before the eyes of the Lord. Before the eyes of the Lord. And it is actually unauthorized by God, Adonai of Israel. So God does not recognize a family which is started by two wives and two men, or by one man and two wives, or by two wives and one man. God, Adonai of Israel, does not accept or honor such a marriage or such a family which starts like that. Where does it come from? It comes from here. And when you look at the beginning of Genesis, we are seeing that Adonai of Israel made one man from one woman. For one woman, he had the authority and he had the power. He had all what it could what it could need to create two men for one wife, or two wives for one man. But he created one for one. And we are seeing it again here, God picking one female and one male. And we are seeing it happening to Noah. Everyone had his sons entered with their one wife, and Noah himself entered with his one wife into the Teva. So this is a very wonderful lesson which I would like to introduce to you today. Next time we will talk about verse 21, which will introduce us to this thing of food. We will read about food. We will read about food, because verse 21 talks about little about food. So next time we will read about that. Shalom. Shalom.